Hey champs of Examsnet, welcome to the question series of Examsnet. I hope this series of detailed explanation is helping you a lot. So in today's session we are going to discuss NEET 2023 biology paper for Manipur candidates, and we are a total of 100 questions here. So let's start the session. The first question is from the chapter biomolecules, and here we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first thing mentioned in list 1 is protein. We know that protein is a polymer of amino acids, right? Amino acids, and these amino acids are linked by the peptide bonds. Peptide bonds. So the correct match for A will be number 4. Then the second one is unsaturated fatty acids. So unsaturated fatty acids have one or more one or more double bonds. Okay, carbon carbon double bonds. Saturated fatty acids have single bonds and unsaturated fatty acids have double bond. So the correct match for B will be number 1. Okay, then let's come to the third one. Here we have nucleic acids. So nucleic acids, as we know, are the polymers of nucleotides. Okay, nucleotides, and these nucleotides are linked by which type of bond? By the phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. So the correct match for C will be number 2. And the last one is polysaccharides. So polysaccharides are the polymers of monosaccharides. Monosaccharides, which are linked by the glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bonds. So the correct match for D will be number 3. So according to this, the correct option should be the third one. A matched with 4, then B matched with 1, C matched with 2, and D matched with 3. Okay, option C is the correct answer. Question number 2 is from the chapter ecosystem. Here we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first component of list 1 is hydrarch succession. Now this type of succession starts from the aquatic areas or wet areas, and then it gradually moves towards the mesic areas. Okay, areas to mesic conditions. Mesic conditions means the condition which is neither too dry nor too wet. Okay, so mesic can be said as moderate. That means it will start with which type of organism? The organisms which live in wet areas, for example, phytoplankton. Okay, so the correct match for A will be number 4. Then the second one is xerarch succession. So it starts from the dry areas. It starts from dry areas such as deserts and rocks, and then again it also moves towards the mesic conditions. So which type of organisms live in dry areas? Lichens are the examples of organisms which live in dry areas such as rocks. Okay, so the correct match for B will be number 3. Lichens to mesic conditions. C is ecological succession. So ecological succession simply means gradual change in the species composition. So the correct match for C will be number 1. And the last one is secondary succession. So secondary succession is basically a type of succession that occurs on a pre-existing and disrupted areas. Okay, so it occurs on a pre-existing, that means an area which a habitat which existed earlier. Okay, pre-existing and disrupted habitat. So since a habitat already existed at that place, therefore this type of succession is generally faster and the climax is reached quickly. So the correct match for D will be number 2. So according to this, which should be the correct answer? A should be matched with 4. So either A or D. Then B should be matched with 3. That means option D should be the correct answer. Okay, C is matched with 1 and D is matched with 2. Yes, option D is the correct answer. Question number 3 is from the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, and the question is, in Calotropis, aestivation is. Options are valvate, vexillary, imbricate and twisted. So the correct answer is option A, that is valvate aestivation. Okay, and what is valvate aestivation? It is a type of aestivation when sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margin. Okay, just touch one another at the margin, and there is no overlapping in this case. Okay, so without overlapping. If we look at the diagram of valvate aestivation, it looks something like this. Okay, there is no overlapping. This is valvate aestivation. It is exhibited by the calotropis. If we talk about vexillary aestivation, it is exhibited by peas. The example of imbricate aestivation is cassia, and the twisted aestivation is exhibited by China rose. So according to this question, the correct answer is option number A, valvate aestivation. Question number 4 is from the chapter photosynthesis, and here also we have to match list 1 with list 2. First pigment mentioned in list 1 is chlorophyll A. So what is the color of chlorophyll A? In a chromatogram it appears to be bright or blue green in color. So A will be matched with number 3, blue green. Okay. Then the second one is chlorophyll B. The chlorophyll B appears yellow-green in the chromatogram. So the correct match for B will be number 2. It is already matched here. Okay. Then the third one, xanthophyll. Xanthophyll appears yellow in the chromatogram. So the correct match for C will be number 4. And the last one is carotenoid. So carotenoid appears yellow to yellow orange in the chromatogram. Okay. So the correct match for D will be number 1. So according to this, the correct options should be the first one. A matched with 3, B matched with 2, C matched with 4 and D matched with 1. Okay. Option A is the correct answer. Question number 5 is from the chapter Environmental Issues, and the question is nitrates and phosphates flowing from an agricultural farms into water bodies are a significant cause of. Options are eutrophication, humification, mineralization and stratification. So the correct answer is eutrophication. Okay, what is eutrophication? It is a condition in which there is an excess of nutrients in the water bodies. Okay, excess of nutrients in the water bodies. And what happens when there is excess of nutrients in water bodies? It stimulates excessive plant growth. Okay, excessive plant growth, or we can say growth of algae, phytoplanktons, weeds, etc. Okay, and this condition is known as algal blooms. Algal blooms. And due to this, amount of dissolved oxygen in the water bodies decreases. Okay, amount of dissolved oxygen in the water bodies decreases, and it leads to the death of organisms. Death of organisms. So this is how eutrophication is harmful for the water body or for the aquatic organisms. Okay, and nitrates and phosphates, these two are the essential nutrients that can cause eutrophication when present in large quantity. Therefore option A will be the correct answer. Question number 6 is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation, and here we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first one is monohybrid cross. Now what is monohybrid cross? It is a type of cross which involves only one pair of contrasting characters. Okay, one pair of contrasting characters or contrasting traits. And the phenotypic ratio in case of monohybrid cross is 3:1. Okay, 3:1 is the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio. So the correct match for A will be number 3, 3:1. Then the second one is dihybrid cross. So dihybrid cross means two pairs of contrasting characters are involved here. Okay, And the phenotypic ratio in this case is 9:3:3:1. So the correct match for B will be number 4. Third one is incomplete dominance, and incomplete dominance means none of the alleles for a specific trait is dominant. As a result, the phenotype of the progeny will be somewhere in between that of parent. Okay, so the phenotypic ratio in this case is 1:2:1. So the correct match for C will be number 2. And the last one is test cross. So test cross means crossing of an individual with dominant phenotype but unknown genotype. Let's write it down here. Crossing of an individual with dominant phenotype but unknown genotype with another individual or another one with a homozygous recessive genotype. Okay, homozygous recessive genotype. Okay, so one individual will be having the dominant phenotype but the genotype will be unknown, and the another will be the homozygous recessive type. Okay, and in this case the phenotypic ratio can be 1:1 if the dominant individual was a heterozygote. Okay, if the dominant individual was a heterozygote. Therefore, the correct match for D will be number 1, 1:1. Okay, so according to this, the correct answer will be A matched with 3, then B matched with 4, C matched with 2, D matched with 1. So option A is the correct answer. Question number 7 is from the chapter Respiration in Plants, and the question is how many times decarboxylation occurs during each TCA cycle. Okay, so TCA cycle means tricarboxylic acid cycle, and it is also known as Krebs cycle. And during a Krebs cycle, decarboxylation occurs at 2 steps. First, during the conversion of isocitrate into alpha ketoglutarate. And second, during the conversion of alpha ketoglutarate into succinyl coenzyme A. Okay, succinyl coenzyme A. So the correct answer will be option D, twice. Okay, these are the 2 steps at which decarboxylation, that means removal of carbon dioxide, takes place. Question number 8 is from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division, and the question is the dissolution of synaptonymal complex occurs during. Options are packitine, diplotin, diakinesis and leptotin. So what is synaptonymal complex? It is a complex or a structure that holds the homologous chromosomes together. Okay, structure that holds homologous chromosomes together. And during the diplotin stage, what happens? The chromosomes begin to move apart. Okay, the structure dissolves and the chromosomes start moving apart, although they remain attached at the chiasmata. That means the point of crossing over. So the correct answer will be option B, diplotin. During this stage, the dissolution of synaptonymal complex takes place. Okay, option B is the correct answer. Question number 9 is from the chapter Transport in Plants, and the question is identify the correct statements regarding mass flow hypothesis. So the first statement says mass flow is faster than diffusion. Yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, because we know that mass flow Mass flow depends on the pressure difference or the pressure gradient, right? Pressure difference. Whereas if we talk about diffusion, it relies on the concentration gradient. Due to this reason, diffusion is generally slower than the mass flow, or we can say mass flow is faster than diffusion. Okay. Now let's come to the second statement. It says mass flow is the result of pressure difference between the endpoints. Yes, we have already discussed that mass flow is the movement of sap that is driven by pressure gradient between the source and the sink. Okay. Then the third statement says different substances involved in mass flow move at different paces. Different paces means different speeds. So this is incorrect, okay? Because different substances in case of mass flow will move at the same pace because of the pressure difference, okay? So this is incorrect statement. Then the last statement says mass flow can result through either a positive or a negative hydrostatic pressure gradient. This is also a correct statement. Positive hydrostatic pressure gradient means the flow from high to low pressure. Okay, from high to low pressure. And negative hydrostatic pressure means the flow from low to high pressure. Low to high pressure. And this type of flow, that means negative hydrostatic pressure, will require energy. Okay, and it depends on where the source or the sink is located. Okay, so out of the four statements, we have seen that three statements are correct. Only the third one is incorrect. Okay, so A, B and D only, that means option D will be the correct answer. Question number 10 is from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division, and the question is doubling of the number of chromosomes can be achieved by disrupting mitotic cell division soon after. Options are anaphase, telophase, prophase and metaphase. So we know that during metaphase the chromosomes are aligned at the center of the cell. Okay, so if this is the cell, then the chromosomes are arranged at the center or equator. Okay, like this. After metaphase comes anaphase, during which the sister chromatids are separated from each other. Okay, so these are the sister chromatids. They have separated from each other and they have started moving towards the opposite poles, right? Now, if we disrupt the mitotic cell division, disrupt mitotic cell division just before the anaphase or soon after the metaphase, because after word is given in the question, soon after the metaphase. So it can be after metaphase or before anaphase. Okay, then what will happen? The sister chromatids will not separate. Sister chromatids will not separate because anaphase will not take place. Okay, and if sister chromatids will not separate, then it will lead to the doubling of the number of chromosomes. Okay, doubling number of chromosomes. So we have seen that the doubling of the number of chromosomes can be achieved by disrupting mitotic cell division soon after the metaphase. Okay, so option D will be the correct answer. Question number 11 is from the chapter Photosynthesis in Higher Plants. Here two statements are given and we have to identify the correct statements. Okay, first statement says Rubisco is the most abundant enzyme in the world. So yes, this is a correct statement. Rubisco enzyme means ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. Okay, carboxylase oxygenase. And this enzyme catalyzes the first major step of carbon dioxide fixation. Okay, it catalyzes first major step of carbon dioxide fixation. and it is the most abundant enzyme in the world. Now let's move to the second statement. It says photorespiration does not occur in C4 plants. So this is also a correct statement. Okay. In C4 plants, what happens? Rubisco enzyme is separated from oxygen. Okay. In C4 plants, Rubisco is separated from oxygen in the leaf air spaces. Leaf air spaces. Due to this, the oxygenase activity is reduced. Okay, oxygenase activity of this enzyme is reduced. And what will happen when the oxygenase activity is reduced? Rate of photorespiration will also get reduced. Rate of photorespiration is also reduced, and due to this minimal or negligible photorespiration occurs. So both the statements are correct. That means option C, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. This option will be the correct answer. Question number 12 is from the chapter Biodiversity and Conservation, and the question is, in Rivet-Popper hypothesis, Paul Ehrlich compared the rivets in an airplane to, options are species within a genus, genetic diversity, ecosystem, and genera within a family. So, according to the Rivet-Popper hypothesis that is used by Paul Ehrlich, the airplane is compared to the ecosystem. Okay. Ecosystem, and the rivets which are used to connect all parts of the airplane are compared with the species. Therefore, these rivets represent species within a genus. Okay, option A will be the correct answer. Question number 13 is from the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, and the question is, in a pea flower, 5 petals are arranged in a specialized manner with 1 posterior, 2 lateral and 2 anterior. These are named as dash, dash and dash respectively. Okay. So we know that in a pea flower, the single large posterior petal is known as standard. Okay. It is known as standard. 2 lateral petals are known as wings, and 2 anterior petals, which are generally fused at their edges, are known as keel, because they form a structure that looks like the keel of a boat. Okay, so the correct answer will be option number D, standard, wings and keel. Question number 14 is again from the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, and the question is, in which of the following sets of families the pollen grains are viable for months? Okay, so they have long viability. Option A, Solanaceae, Poaceae and Liliaceae. So Poaceae will not be the correct answer, because in some of the members of Poaceae family, for example, rice and wheat, the pollen grains lose their viability within few minutes. Okay, so pollen lose viability within 30 minutes. Okay, within 30 minutes of their release. So they do not have long viability. In the second option again we have Poaceae, so this will not be the correct answer. In the third option as well we have Poaceae. In the last option we have Leguminosae, Solanaceae and Rosaceae. So this will be the correct answer. Okay. In these families there is a long viability. The pollen grains are viable for months. Question number 15 is from the chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants, and the question is, transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of another flower of same plant is known as. Options are getonogamy, xenogamy, autogamy and cleistogamy. So the correct answer will be getonogamy. Okay, getonogamy means the flower is different but the plant is same. Okay, different flower, same plant. In the second one we have xenogamy. Xenogamy means there is different flower and different plant. Okay. In autogamy there is same flower and same plant. Same flower and same plant. Therefore autogamy is also known as self-pollination. Self-pollination because the pollination takes place within the same flower. Then the last one is cleistogamy. So cleistogamy is also a type of self-pollination in which the flowers do not open. Flowers do not open. Therefore, the pollen grains are unable to go anywhere else outside the flower. Okay. So according to this question, the correct answer will be option number A, Getonogamy. Question number 16 is from the chapter Plant Growth and Development, and the question is the phenomena which is influenced by the auxin and also played a major role in its discovery. Options are phototropism, root initiation, gravitropism and apical dominance. So the correct answer is option A, that is phototropism. Okay. What is phototropism? It is a phenomena of growth of organisms in response to light. Okay. Growth of organisms, and specifically we are talking about plants here. Okay, so growth of plants in response to light. Response to light. Now how this hormone auxin influences the process of phototropism? So during an experiment it was found that the hormone named auxin accumulates on the side of the plant which is far from the light source. Okay, for example, if this is your plant, okay, this is the tip of the plant, this upper portion. Here we have a light source, say this is a sun. Okay, so we can see that this is the right side of the plant, this is the left side of the plant. So which side is far from the light source? That means far from the sun. So this is left side. Okay, so the accumulation of auxin will take place on the left side. On this side auxin will get accumulated. So we know that auxin is responsible for the growth of length. Okay, that means only the left side will increase in length and right side will remain same. So what will happen? It will lead to the bending of the plant towards the sun like this. Okay, because left side has increased in length whereas right side has remained same. So we can see that the plant has growth in the direction of the light source. Okay, so this is how auxin was discovered. So option A, phototropism, will be the correct answer. Question number 17 is from the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plants, and the question is the transverse section of a plant part showed polyarch, radial and exarch system with endodermis and pericycle. The plant part is identified as, options are monocot root, dicot stem and monocot stem. So we know that radial vascular system are present in the roots. Okay, that means we are talking about the roots. Okay, and polyarch and exarch type of xylem are found in monocot roots. Okay, these conditions are found in monocot roots. That means we are talking about the monocot roots. So option A will be the correct answer. Question number 18 is from the chapter Environmental Issues, and the question is what will happen if freshwater lake gets contaminated by addition of polluted water with high BOD? So BOD means biochemical oxygen demand, right? Biochemical oxygen demand. So high BOD means there will be high demand of oxygen, right? So high BOD in water means that a large amount of oxygen will be consumed by the microorganisms. Okay, large amount of oxygen will be consumed by the microorganisms, mainly bacteria. So due to this, lesser amount of oxygen will be available in the water body, that is lake. Okay, so lesser amount of oxygen will be available in the water bodies for the aquatic organisms. For the aquatic organisms. For examples, fishes, aquatic plants, etc. So they will not receive enough oxygen for respiration. So this will eventually lead to the death of the organisms, death of the aquatic organisms. Now let's see the options. The first option says amount of dissolved oxygen in the lake will decrease. Yes, the amount of dissolved oxygen will decrease because more and more amount of oxygen is being consumed by the microorganisms, right? Second option says the lake will remain unaffected. This is not possible because this process will affect the lake in a negative way. Then the third option says number of submerged aquatic plants in the lake will increase. So it cannot increase, it will decrease, okay? Because these organisms are not getting enough oxygen. Then the last option is number of aquatic animals in the lake will increase. So this will also decrease, it will not increase. So the only correct answer is option number A. Question number 19 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is the last chromosome sequenced in Human Genome Project was. Options are chromosome 6, chromosome 1, chromosome 22 and chromosome 14. So the correct answer will be chromosome 1. Okay. We know that officially Human Genome Project was completed in the year 2003. Okay. So it was officially completed in the year 2003. But the sequencing process for some parts of the genome continued even after that. Okay. And chromosome number 1, that is the largest human chromosome, it was fully sequenced in the year 2006. Okay. It was May 2006 when this chromosome was finally sequenced. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 20 is from the chapter Ecosystem, and the question is the amount of nutrients such as carbon, nitrogen, potassium and calcium present in the soil at any given time is referred to as. Options are standing state, standing crop, humus and detritus. So the correct answer will be option A, that is standing state. Okay. We know that standing state is a term that is used in ecology to denote the amount of nutrients present in the soil at any given time. Okay. Don't confuse it with standing crop. Standing crop is a term that is used to describe the total biomass. Total biomass. Not the nutrients, okay, because nutrients are inorganic matters whereas biomass are organic matters. Okay, so total biomass of an organism in a particular area or volume at a specific time. So this is known as standing crop, but according to the question the correct answer is option A, standing state. Question number 21 is from the chapter Organisms and Population, and the question is plants offer rewards to animals in the form of pollen and nectar, and the animals facilitate the pollination process. This is an example of. Options are amensalism, competition, commensalism and mutualism. So the correct answer will be mutualism, right? We know that mutualism is a symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic relationship between the organisms in which both the organisms are benefited from each other. Okay, so in this case what happens, the animals help in the dispersal of the pollens, right? That means they help in pollination, help the plants in the process of pollination. In return they receive pollen and nectar as food from the plants. Okay, so this way both are benefited from each other, therefore option D, mutualism, will be the correct answer. Question number 22 is from the chapter Biodiversity and Conservation, and the question is the species of plants that plays a vital role in controlling the relative abundance of other species in a community is called. Options are alien species, endemic species, exotic species and keystone species. So the correct answer is keystone species. Okay, so they play a very important role in controlling the relative population of other species in the community, and this is how they maintain the structure of the ecological community. Okay, they maintain the structure of an ecological community. What will happen if keystone species will be absent in an ecosystem? Their absence can lead to significant shift in the ecosystem and a loss of biodiversity. Okay, so these are very important, and the correct answer is option number D. Question number 23 is from the chapter Plant Kingdom, and here we have to match the class of pteridophytes with the correct example. So the first class that is mentioned is Pteropsida, and the correct match for Pteropsida will be Adiantum. Okay, so A will be matched with 3. Adiantum is a type of fern, okay, and specifically it is maidenhair fern. Maidenhair fern. Then the second class is Lycopsida, and the correct match for Lycopsida will be Selaginella. So B will be matched with number 4. Okay, Selaginella is an example of club moss. Club moss. Then the third class is Psilopsida, and the correct match for Psilopsida is Psilotum. The names are similar, so C will be matched with number 1. Okay, Psilotum is whisk fern. Whisk fern. Then the last class is Sphinopsida, and the correct match for Sphinopsida will be Equisetum. That means D will be matched with number 2. Okay, Equisetum is horsetail. Horsetail. It is an example of horsetail. So all these are different types of pteridophytes. Okay, according to this match, the correct answer should be option number D. Question number 24 is from the chapter Biomolecules, and the question is inulin is a polymer of. Options are fructose, galactose, amino acids and glucose. So the correct answer will be option A, that is fructose. Okay, this is a factual question. Inulin is a polymer of fructose. Question number 25 is from the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes, and the question is thermostable DNA polymerase used in PCR was isolated from. So thermostable DNA polymerase is an enzyme which is also known as Taq polymerase. Okay, and this enzyme is able to withstand high temperature. Withstand high temperature that is used in the process of polymerase chain reaction, that is PCR, and this DNA polymerase enzyme was isolated from a bacterium called Thermus aquaticus. Okay, this is an example of bacterium. So the correct answer will be option number A. Question number 26 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is name the component that binds to an operator region of an operon and prevents RNA polymerase from transcribing the operon. Options are promoter, regulator protein, repressor protein and inducer. So the correct answer is repressor protein. Okay, what is the function of repressor protein? It blocks the process of transcription. Okay, so it can bind to the operator region, bind to the operator region or operator site to block transcription of downstream structural genes. Downstream structural genes. So the correct answer will be option number C. Question number 27 is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation, and the question is a heterozygous pea plant with violet flowers was crossed with homozygous pea plant with white flower. Violet is dominant over white. Which one of the following represents the expected combinations among 40 progenies formed? So it is given that violet color is dominant over white color. That means if violet is represented by capital V, then white will be represented by small v. Okay. Now in the first line of this question, it is given that a heterozygous pea plant with violet flowers, That means capital V, small v is crossed with homozygous pea plant with white flower. That means it is crossed with small v, okay, homozygous and white flower. So let's see, this is capital V, this is small v, this side we have small v. So the cross will give capital V, small v, then here small v, this side again capital V, small v, and again this side small v. So how many capital V, small v are there? This represents violet color, right? Heterozygous with violet. So this is 2 out of 4. And total we have 40 progenies. That means 2 by 4 into 40. So the number of violet flowers will be 2 into 10, that is 20. And small v is also, this represents white, and this is also 2 out of 4. So 2 by 4 into 40, again 20. So there will be 20 violet flowers and 20 white flowers. Okay. So let's see the options. In the first option it is given 30 produced violet and 10 produced white flowers. So this is not true. Second option says 20 produced violet and 20 produced white flowers. Yes, this is correct. Okay. Option C is all 40 produced are violet colors. This is incorrect. And the last one, all 40 produced white flowers. This is also incorrect. So the only correct answer is option number B. Question number 28 is from the chapter Respiration in Plants, and the question is fatty acids are connected with the respiratory pathway through. Options are acetyl coenzyme A, alpha ketogluteric acid, dihydroxyacetone phosphate, and pyruvic acid. So we know that fatty acids are broken down by a process called beta oxidation. Okay, beta oxidation, which takes place in the mitochondria of the cell. Mitochondria of the cell. And during the process of beta oxidation, fatty acids are broken down into a 2-carbon compound called acetyl coenzyme A, which can then enter into the Krebs cycle for further oxidation. Okay. So here we have seen that fatty acids will be broken down into acetyl coenzyme A. So these are connected with the respiratory pathway through acetyl coenzyme A. So correct option will be option number A. Question number 29 is from the chapter Biotechnology, Principles and Processes, and the question is ligation of foreign DNA at which of the following site will result in loss of tetracycline resistance of PBR322. So what is PBR322? It is a commonly used plasmid vector in the genetic engineering. Okay. Now within this plasmid vector there are certain restriction sites within the antibiotic resistance gene. Antibiotic resistance gene. Now there are two main types of antibiotics, amplicin and tetracycline. Okay, amplicin and tetracycline. So here, out of the given options, only BAM-H1 site, the last option, is present within the tetracycline resistance gene. Okay, tetracycline resistance gene. Therefore, if we insert a foreign DNA or ligate a foreign DNA at this site, BAM-H1 site, then it will disrupt the tetracycline resistance gene. Okay, this tetracycline resistance gene will be disrupted and it will result in the loss of tetracycline resistance. Okay, so tetracycline resistance loss. The first two sites, PST1 and PVU1, these two sites are present within the amplicin resistance gene. Therefore, if we insert the foreign DNA at these sites, then what will happen? The tetracycline resistance gene will not be disrupted. Yes, amplicin resistance gene will be disrupted, but it will not affect the tetracycline resistance gene. And the third one, EcoR1, is not present in any of them. Not present in any of them. Neither in the amplicin resistance gene nor in the tetracycline resistance gene. So here the question asks that ligation of foreign DNA at which of the site will result in loss of tetracycline resistance. So it will be BAM H1 site. Option number D will be the correct answer. Question number 30 is from the chapter Plant Growth and Development, and here we have to match the plant hormones with their functions. Okay, so the first hormone is auxin. Now there is a synthetic auxin called naphthalene acetic acid, or NAA in short. Okay, this synthetic auxin helps in promoting flowering in pineapple. Therefore, the correct match for A will be number 4. Then the second hormone is gibberellin. The correct match for gibberellin will be increase in the length of grape stalks. Okay, it is known for increasing the length of grape stalks. So the correct match for B will be number 3. Then the third hormone is cytokinin. Now cytokinin helps in overcoming the apical dominance. So the correct match for C will be number 2. And the last hormone is ethylene, which is a gaseous hormone. It promotes female flower formation in cucumber. So the correct match for D will be number 1. So according to this match, let's see which one is the correct option. A matched with 4, B with 3, C with 2 and D with 1. That means option B is the correct answer. Question number 31 is from the chapter Transport in Plants, and the question is, during symport, two different molecules move across the membrane. Option A, in same direction with the help of different carriers located at a common site. Option B, in same direction with the help of different carriers located at different sites in the same cell. Option C, in same direction with the help of same carrier. And option D, in opposite direction with the help of same carrier. So we know that symport is a type of transport mechanism that takes place in the plasma membrane or cell membrane of the cell. And in case of symport, two different molecules move in the same direction, okay, and with the help of same carrier proteins. Therefore, option C will be the correct answer. Question number 32 is from the chapter Plant Kingdom, and the question is, which classes of algae possess pigment fucoxanthin and pigment phycoerythrin respectively? So we know that fucoxanthin pigment is present in the brown algae, right? Brown algae, and the brown algae are known as Phaeophyceae. Phaeophyceae. And phycoerythrin pigment, it is a red colored pigment present in the red algae, and red algae is known as Rhodophyceae. Therefore, the correct answer will be option number B, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Okay. Question number 33 is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation, and the question is, in which disorder change of single base pair in the gene for beta globin chain results in the change of glutamic acid to valine? Options are thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, hemophilia and phenylketonuria. So the correct answer will be sickle cell anemia. Okay, it is caused by single nucleotide mutation. Single nucleotide mutation in the beta globin gene. And this beta globin gene is a part of hemoglobin, right? Hemoglobin. So this mutation will cause the amino acid glutamic acid replaced by valine. Okay, glutamic acid will be replaced by valine. So this will result in the formation of a new type of hemoglobin known as S hemoglobin. Okay, S hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin can deform the red blood cells. Deform the red blood cells, RBCs, into a sickle shape. Into sickle-like shape. And this is known as sickle cell anemia. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 34 is from the chapter Organisms and Population, and the question is, for chemical defense against herbivores, Calotropis has. So Calotropis is a type of milkweed. Okay, milkweed. and this contains cardiac glycosides which are toxic compounds. Okay, these are toxic compounds, and these can interfere with the sodium potassium pump. Okay, these can interfere the sodium potassium pump in the heart and other cells. Okay, heart and other cells. This makes this plant toxic to most of the herbivores. Okay, so the correct answer will be option number A, cardiac glycosides. Question number 35 is from the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plants, and the question is, consider the following tissues in the stellar region of a stem showing secondary growth: primary xylem, primary phloem and secondary phloem. Arrange these in the correct sequence of their position from pith towards the cortex. Okay, this is cortex. So if we arrange them starting from pith, if this is your pith, towards the cortex in this direction, then first we'll get primary xylem, then we'll get secondary xylem. Now if we come to the phloem, first we'll get secondary phloem, okay, secondary phloem, and then we'll get primary phloem. So the correct sequence will be A, then B, then D, and then C. Okay. So according to this, the correct answer will be option number A. Question number 36 is from the chapter Mineral Nutrition, and the question is, which of the following mineral ion is not remobilized in plants? Options are potassium, calcium, nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay. So what is mineral remobilization? It is the process of transportation of nutrients from older tissues to the newer tissues. Okay. So let's write it down here. It is the process of transportation of the of nutrients from older tissues to the newer ones. Okay, older tissues, for example, mature leaves, and newer ones means new leaves, young leaves or developing seeds. Okay, these are newer tissues. So we know that mainly there are two types of elements: mobile elements and immobile elements. Mobile elements are those which can easily be remobilized from the older tissues to the newer ones. Okay, examples of mobile tissues can be potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. Okay, and if we talk about the immobile elements, so these are relatively immobile. That means once they are incorporated into the plant tissue, they generally do not get remobilized from there. Okay, examples of immobile elements can be calcium, sulfur, iron, copper, etc. Okay, so here in the options you can see potassium, nitrogen and phosphorus. These three are examples of mobile elements, whereas calcium is the example of immobile elements. Therefore it cannot be remobilized. Okay, calcium ion cannot be remobilized, so option B will be the correct answer. Question number 37 is from the chapter Photosynthesis in Higher Plants, and the question is, which out of the following statements is incorrect? Okay, so we have to identify the incorrect statement. First statement says grana lamellae have both PS1 and PS2. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, we know that PS1 and PS2, that is photosystem 1 and photosystem 2, are involved in the light dependent reaction. Okay, these two are involved in the light dependent reaction of the photosynthesis. Light dependent reaction of the photosynthesis that occurs in the thylakoid membrane of the chloroplast. thylakoid membrane. And grana lamellae is nothing but the stacks of thylakoids are known as grana, right? So this is a correct statement. Now we come to the second statement. It says cyclic photophosphorylation involves both PS1 and PS2. So this is an incorrect statement. Cyclic photophosphorylation involves only PS1, okay, and not PS2. And what is the purpose of cyclic photophosphorylation? The purpose is to produce additional ATP without producing NADPH. Okay, so ATP is produced, but NADPH is not produced in case of cyclic photophosphorylation. No NADPH. And the third statement says both ATP and NADPH plus H plus are synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So yes, this is a correct statement. In the previous statement, we saw that in cyclic photophosphorylation, only ATP is produced and NADPH is not produced. But in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both are produced. Therefore, the third statement is correct. Okay. Now let's come to the last statement. It says stroma lamellae lacks PS2 and NADP reductase enzyme. So this is also a correct statement. Okay. So PS2 is located in the grana lamellae, not the stroma lamellae. Right. So the only incorrect statement here is the second one. That means option B will be the correct answer. Question number 38 is from the chapter Mineral Nutrition. Here we have to match the names of bacteria mentioned in column 1 with their functions mentioned in column 2. Okay. So the first bacterium that is mentioned is Nitrococcus. And the correct match for Nitrococcus will be number 2. That means conversion of ammonia into nitrite. Okay. Because Nitrococcus is involved in the nitrification process. Right. Now let's come to the second one. Second bacterium that is mentioned is Rhizobium. And the correct match for Rhizobium will be number 4, conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. Okay. We know that Rhizobium is a type of bacteria that is found in the soil and it can fix nitrogen after becoming established inside the root nodules of the leguminous plants. Okay. So the correct match for B will be number 4. Then the third bacterium is Thiobacillus, and the correct match for Thiobacillus will be denitrification, that is number 1. Okay, it is involved in denitrification, that is a process of reducing nitrates into nitrites and then to nitrogen gas. Okay, nitrates to nitrites and then to nitrogen gas and then returning it to the atmosphere. Okay, so the correct match for C is number 1. And the last one is Nitrobacter, and the correct match for Nitrobacter will be number 3, conversion of nitrite into nitrate. Okay, Nitrobacter is a genus of bacteria that plays an important role in the nitrogen cycle where they convert nitrite into nitrate. So according to this, the correct option should be option number C. Okay, option number C is the correct answer. Question number 39 is from the chapter Sexual Reproduction and Flowering Plants, and the question is, in angiosperms, the correct sequence of events in the formation of female gametophyte in the ovule is, okay, first one is 3 successive free nuclear divisions, functional megaspores. Then second one is degeneration of 3 megaspores. Then meiotic division in the megaspore mother cell. Then migration of 3 nuclei towards each pole, and the last one that is mentioned here is formation of wall resulting in 7-celled embryo sac. So this is not a correct sequence. What should be the correct sequence, right? So first meiotic division in the megaspore mother cell will take place. So C will come first. Okay, first meiotic division in the megaspore mother cell will take place. So when meiotic division takes place, 4 megaspores will be formed. Okay, meiotic division will take place and 4 megaspores will be formed, right? Then out of these 4 megaspores, 3 megaspores will degenerate and only one will remain functional. Okay, so degeneration of 3 megaspores, that means number B will be the next one. Okay, 3 will degenerate and only one will remain functional. Then the next one will be number A. That means 3 successive free nuclear divisions will take place. Okay. And that division will be of the functional megaspore, right? Because only one megaspore is left. So this functional megaspore will undergo 3 successive free nuclear divisions. Then the next one will be number D. Migration of 3 nuclei towards each pole. Okay. Then the last one will be number E. Formation of wall resulting in 7-celled embryo sac. So the correct answer will be option number D. C, B, A, D, E. Okay. Question number 40 is from the chapter Plant Kingdom, and the question is, which of the following statements is true? Okay. First statement says that all pteridophytes exhibit haplodiplontic pattern. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay. Pteridophytes, what is the example of pteridophytes? Ferns, right? And they exhibit haplodiplontic pattern. That means it shows alternation of generation. Alternation of generation between a haploid between a haploid gametophytic stage, okay, gametophyte, and a diploid, that is 2N sporophytic stage. Okay, and both the stages are free living and independent. Now let's come to the second statement. It says seed bearing plants follow haplontic pattern. So this is incorrect statement. Seed bearing plants include gymnosperms and angiosperms, and these exhibit diplontic life cycle. Diplontic life cycle, not haplontic. Okay, and here sporophytic generation is dominant. Then we come to the third one. It says most algal genera are diplontic. Again, this is incorrect because algal genera are haplontic. Okay, that means gametophyte is the dominant stage here. Then the last statement is most bryophytes do not have haplodiplontic life cycles. This is incorrect because bryophytes also exhibit haplodiplontic life cycle. Okay, so the only correct statement or the true statement is the first one. So option A will be the correct answer. Question number 41 is from the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes, and the question is, which of the following statement is incorrect about Agrobacterium tumefaciens? So what is Agrobacterium tumefaciens? It is a type of bacterium that acts as a pathogen of several dicot plants. Okay, so it is a pathogen of dicot plants. Now this bacterium has tumor-inducing plasmid DNA, that is known as Ti plasmid. Okay, that means tumor-inducing plasmid. Now what happens during the process of genetic engineering? A small portion of this Ti plasmid, that is known as tDNA, is taken from it and it is inserted into the plant cell. Okay, so it is used to deliver the gene of interest into the plant cell in this way, right? Now let's see the options. The first option says it is used to deliver gene of interest in both prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic host cell. So it is used in case of plant cell which are eukaryotic host cells, right? So it is not typically used for prokaryotic cells. Therefore this statement is incorrect. Okay, it is only used in case of eukaryotic host cells mainly. Now let's come to the second statement. It says Ti plasmid from Agrobacterium tumefaciens used for gene transfer is not pathogenic to plant cell. So we have seen that this bacterium is pathogenic to the plant cell, but nowadays Ti plasmid of this bacterium has been modified into a cloning vector which is no more pathogenic to the plant cell, but still it is able to deliver the gene of interest. So this is correct statement. Okay, by modifying this Ti plasmid, it has become harmless to the plant cell. Now let's come to the third statement. It says it transforms normal plant cells into the tumor cells. Yes, when it is inserted into the plant cells, this transforms the normal plant cells into the tumor cells, and then it directs these tumor cells to produce the chemicals that are required by the pathogen. Okay. Then the last statement says it delivers tDNA into the plant cell. Yes. So out of 4 statements, only the first statement, option number A, will be incorrect. Okay. Question number 42 is from the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plants, and the question is, consider the following plant tissues: axillary buds, fascicular vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium, cork cambium, and intercalary meristem. Identify the lateral meristems among the above. So what are lateral meristems? These are the meristems that are involved in the secondary growth of the plant. Okay, secondary growth of the plant. What do? They increase the width or the girth of the plants. Okay. Now the first type of tissues that are mentioned is axillary buds. So axillary buds are derived from the activity of apical meristems, not lateral meristems. Okay. So these are not among the lateral meristems. So this is incorrect. Now the second one is fascicular vascular cambium. So yes, this is a type of lateral meristem, and it produces the secondary vascular tissue. Secondary vascular tissues. Then the third one is interfascicular cambium. So these are also type of lateral meristems. Okay, these also contribute to the secondary growth in the stem. Fourth one is the cork cambium. So yes, cork cambium is also a type of lateral meristem. Okay, this cork cambium is also known as phellogen, and it produces the cork, which is a part of protective outer layer of the stems or roots. Then the last one is intercalary meristems. So this is not a type of lateral meristem. This is a type of apical meristem. Apical meristem. And it is involved in the primary growth of the plant, not the secondary growth. Okay, primary growth and elongation. So out of the 5 types of tissues mentioned here, the 3 of them, B, C and D, these are type of lateral meristems. Okay, so B, C and D only, that means option B will be the correct answer. Question number 43 is from the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes, and here we have to match list 1 and list 2. Okay, so the first thing mentioned in list 1 is kanamycin. So what is kanamycin? It is an antibiotic. Okay, kanamycin is an antibiotic, and a resistance gene for this antibiotic, that is kanamycin, is often used as a selectable marker in genetic engineering. Okay, selectable marker. So the correct match for the first one will be number 2 in list 2. Okay, selectable marker. Then the second one in list 1 is CLA1. CLA1. So what is CLA1? It is a restriction enzyme. It is a restriction enzyme. Okay, and it is used to cut DNA at specific sites known as restriction sites. Okay, known as restriction sites. So these are the sites at which this restriction enzyme cuts the DNA. Okay, so B will be matched with number 3, restriction site. Then C, disarmed retroviruses. So disarmed retroviruses are often used as vectors in genetic engineering. Okay, these are used as vectors to deliver genes into the animal cells. Okay, during the gene therapy. Okay, now why they are disarmed? So that they are made safe for use in humans and animals. Okay, so the correct match for C will be the first one. It does genes into the animal cells. Okay, it is used in gene therapy. Gene therapy. And the last one is kanamycin resistance gene. So we have seen that kanamycin is an antibiotic. So kanamycin resistance gene is a type of antibiotic resistance gene. Okay, so the correct match for D will be fourth one. Okay, so the correct match for A is number 2, then B it is number 3, then C number 1, and D number 4. Okay, so according to this, the correct option will be option number A. Question number 44 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and here two statements are given. The first statement says the process of copying genetic information from one strand of the DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. So yes, this is the correct definition of transcription. Okay. Then the second statement says a transcription unit in DNA is defined primarily by three regions in the DNA: a promoter, a structural gene, and a terminator. So this statement is also correct. Okay, we know that a transcription unit in a DNA contains a promoter region. This is the region or the DNA sequence where the transcription starts. Okay, so it marks the beginning of the transcription. Then second region is the structural gene. The structural gene. What is structural gene? It is the actual genetic information. Genetic information that is being transcribed. Being transcribed. And the last region is the terminator region. Terminator. So this is the DNA sequence or the sequence of nucleotides that signals the end of transcription. Okay, so end of transcription. So both the statements are correct. Okay, statement 1 and statement 2 both are correct. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 45 is again from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is, which scientist conducted an experiment with phosphorus 32 and sulfur 35 labeled phages for demonstrating that DNA is the genetic material? Okay, so this is very easy and direct question. We know that the experiment with phosphorus 32 and sulfur 35 labeled phages for demonstrating that DNA is the genetic material was conducted by two scientists. Okay, first one is A.D. Hershey and the second one is M.J. Chase. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 46 is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation, and the question is, a certain plant homozygous for yellow seeds and red flowers was crossed with a plant homozygous for green seeds and white flowers. The F1 plants had yellow seeds and pink flowers. The F1 plants were selfed to get F2 progeny. Assuming independent assortment of the two characters, how many phenotypic categories are expected for these characters in the F2 generation? Okay, so see, we know that out of the two color of the seeds, green and yellow, which one is dominant? Yellow color is dominant. Okay, so we write capital Y for yellow color seeds, yellow seeds, and we write small y for green seeds. Similarly, in the flower color, red is dominant over white, so we write capital R for red flowers, and we write small r for white flowers, right? Now, according to this question, a certain plant was homozygous for yellow seeds and red flowers. Okay, that means capital R, okay, red flowers, and yellow seeds, that means capital Y, capital Y. Okay, and it was crossed with a plant that was homozygous for green seeds and white flowers. Okay, so white flowers, so small r, and green seeds means small y, small y. Now from the first one, what will be the gametes that will be obtained? Capital R and capital Y. And from the second one, the gamete will be small r and small y. So the resultant progeny of the F1 generation will have the genotype capital R, capital Y, small y. Okay, this will be the common genotype of all the offsprings of the F1 generation. Okay, and it is given that these offsprings had pink flowers. Okay, that means capital R, small r gave pink color. That means in this case, red color was incompletely dominant. Okay, so it showed incomplete dominance. Incomplete dominance is exhibited here. Now, it is also given in the question that these F1 plants were selfed to get the F2 progeny. So let's see the cross. Here, how many types of gametes are possible? 4 types of gametes are possible. Okay, gametes from this will be capital R, capital Y, then small r, capital Y, then capital R, small y, and small r, small y. Okay, these are the 4 types of gametes. Now these are crossed, self-crossing is done. That means again this side also will write capital R, capital Y, then small r, capital Y, then capital R, small y, and then at last small r, small y. Okay, so let's see. First we'll get capital R, capital R, capital Y, capital Y. Then we'll get capital R, capital Y. Then capital R, capital Y, small y. And here we get capital R, capital Y, small y. Okay. Then in the second row we'll get capital R, capital Y. Then here small r, capital Y. Then capital R, capital Y, small y. And then here small r, capital Y, small y. Okay. Then in the third row we get capital R, capital Y, small y. Then capital R, capital Y, small y. Then capital R, small y. And then capital R, small y, small y. Okay. And in the last row we'll get capital R, capital Y, small y. Then small r, capital Y, small y. Then capital R, small y. And then at last we'll get small r, small y, small y. Okay. Now, wherever there is capital R, it means red flowers. Okay. If it is small r, it means white flowers. And if it is capital R, small r, it means pink flowers. Okay. Now in seed color, if we get capital Y, it means yellow color. If we get capital Y, small y, then also it will give yellow color because yellow is not incompletely dominant, it is completely dominant. Okay. But if we have small y, it means green seeds. Okay. Green seeds. These are the seed colors. So if you observe this cross carefully, you will see that 6 types of phenotypes will be possible here. Okay. First one will be red flower with yellow seeds. Red flower with yellow seeds. Then the second possibility will be pink flowers, yellow seeds. Third possibility will be white flower and yellow seeds. Then fourth possibility will be red flower with green seeds. Okay. Then pink flowers with green seeds. And the last one will be white flowers with green seeds. Okay. So these 6 types of genotypes will be seen in the F2 generation. Okay. So the correct answer will be option number D, 6. Question number 47 is from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division, and the question is, during which stages of mitosis and meiosis respectively does the centromere of each chromosome split? Okay, so we know that the splitting of centromere takes place during the anaphase of both mitosis and meiosis. Okay, now we know that in case of mitosis there is only one anaphase. Okay, so the splitting of chromosome, the centromere will take place during this anaphase in case of mitosis. But in meiosis we have two anaphase, anaphase 1 and anaphase 2. Okay, so in this case, anaphase 2 is similar to the anaphase of mitosis. Okay, so during this phase, that means anaphase 2 of meiosis, the splitting of centromere takes place. So in case of mitosis, anaphase, and in case of meiosis, anaphase 2. That means option D will be the correct answer. Question number 48 is from the chapter Transport in Plants, and the question is which of the following statements is not correct? So we have to identify the incorrect statement, right? The first statement says phase of cell elongation of plant cells is characterized by increased vacuolation. So this is a correct statement, okay? The characteristics of cell elongation phase are increased vacuolation as it is mentioned here, then cell enlargement and new cell wall deposition. Cell wall deposition. These are the characteristics of cell elongation phase. Now let's come to the second statement. It says cells in the meristematic phase of growth exhibit abundant plasmodesmatal connections. So this is also correct statement. Okay, what is plasmodesmatal connections? It is the cytoplasmic connection that enables the transportation of substances between two cells. Okay, then the third statement, it says plant growth is generally determinate. Now this is incorrect statement because we know that one of the most important characteristics of plant growth is that its growth is indeterminate. Okay, indeterminate. Okay, plants show indeterminate growth. That means they continue to grow as long as they live due to continuous production of the new cells by meristematic tissues. Okay. Now the last statement says that plant growth is measurable. Yes, its growth can be measured. So this is also correct statement. So the only incorrect statement is the third one. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 49 is from the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, and here we have to match the type of flowers with the correct examples. So the first type of flower is zygomorphic. Now what is zygomorphic flower? It is the flower that can be divided into two equal halves by only one vertical plane. Okay, so the correct match for A will be number 3, cassia. Okay, because cassia is an example of zygomorphic flowers. Then second one is hypogynous. Hypogynous means the gynoecium occupies the highest position. Okay, the gynoecium is present at the top position. Okay, and the other floral parts are located below the gynoecium. Okay, in this case the ovary is said to be superior. Okay, so superior ovary, superior ovary. And what will be the example of hypogynous flower? Mustard is a good example. So the correct match for B will be number 1, mustard. Now third one is perigynous. So in case of perigynous, gynoecium is located at the center and the other floral parts are located around the gynoecium. Okay, and the example of perigynous flowers is plum. So the correct match for C will be number 2. And the last type of flowers that is mentioned here is epigynous. In case of epigynous, the gynoecium is located at the lowest position. Okay, lowest position. And all the other floral parts are located above the gynoecium. Therefore, in this case, the ovary is said to be inferior. Okay, so inferior ovary. And the best example of epigynous will be cucumber. So the correct match for D will be number 4. So according to this, the correct answer should be option number D. Question number 50 is from the chapter Transport in Plants as well as Mineral Nutrition. Here two statements are given and we have to identify the correct statement. The first statement says that the process of translocation through phloem is unidirectional, but through xylem it is bidirectional. So this is incorrect, okay? Because through phloem the process of translocation is bidirectional, whereas through xylem it is unidirectional. Okay. Now, the second statement says the most readily mobilized elements are phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, and potassium. So this is a correct statement. Okay. These elements are most readily mobilized. We know that these are examples of essential nutrients. Essential nutrients. Okay, that means these are required by the plant for their growth and development, and these are actively translocated to the areas where they are most needed. So the first statement is incorrect, but the second one is correct. Okay, statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Option B will be the correct answer. Question number 51 is from the chapter Reproductive Health, and the question is, which of the following sexually transmitted infections are completely curable? So here you should remember one thing, that those sexually transmitted infections which are caused by bacteria are generally curable, okay, because they can be cured with the help of antibiotics, whereas these sexually transmitted infections which are caused by viruses or other microbes are not curable. Okay, now let's see the options. In the first option we have HIV infection and trichomoniasis. So here the HIV infection is caused by viruses. Okay, this is a viral infection, so this cannot be cured. Yes, trichomoniasis can be cured. Okay, this is curable. Trichomoniasis, because this is a parasitic infection. Parasitic infection. So it can be cured with the help of antibiotics. But in this option, one is curable, the other one is not curable. In the second option, we have syphilis and trichomoniasis. So in this case, we have seen that trichomoniasis can be cured with the help of antibiotics, and syphilis can also be cured because this is a bacterial infection. So this can also be cured with the help of antibiotics. So in this option, both the infections are curable. Okay. In the third option, we have hepatitis B and genital herpes. Both are viral infections. Therefore, these are not curable. In the last option, we have genital herpes and genital warts. So these are also viral infections, both of them. So these are not curable. So the only option in which both the infections are curable is the second one. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 52 is from the chapter Human Health and Diseases. Here we have to match list 1 with list 2. Okay. So in the first one we have typhoid. Now we know that typhoid is a bacterial disease. Okay. It is caused by bacteria. And which genus of bacteria? Salmonella. The name of the bacteria is Salmonella typhi. So the genus is Salmonella. So the correct match for A will be number 2, Salmonella. Okay. Now, the second disease is elephantiasis. It is caused by parasitic worm. Okay, it is caused by parasitic worm. From which group? Ascomyces. Ascomyces. Specifically, filarial worms. So the correct match for B will be number 3, Ascomyces. Then the third disease that is mentioned is ringworm, and we know that ringworm is a fungal infection. So this is caused by fungi of the genus Microsporum. Microsporum. So the correct match for C will be number 4, And the last disease that is mentioned is malaria. We know that malaria is caused by protozoan parasite from the genus Plasmodium. So the correct match for D will be number 1. Okay. So according to this, the correct option should be option number C. Question number 53 is from the chapter Biomolecules, and the question is, which of the following is not a secondary metabolite? Options are curcumin, morphine, anthocyanin and lecithin. So what are secondary metabolites? These are the compounds, organic compounds that are produced by the organisms, and these are not directly involved in the normal growth, development or reproduction of the organisms. Okay. Whereas primary metabolites are directly involved in these functions. Okay. What are the examples of secondary metabolites? The examples can be antibiotics, pigments and toxins. So here curcumin, morphine and anthocyanin, these three are examples of secondary metabolites. Okay, secondary metabolites. Whereas lecithin is not an example of secondary metabolite, it is an example of primary metabolite. That means it is directly involved in the normal functioning of the organisms. Okay, growth, development and reproduction. Okay, and specifically if we say lecithin is a phospholipid, it is a type of phospholipid. Okay, and the correct answer will be option number D. Question number 54 is from the chapter Human Reproduction, and the question is, arrange the sequence of different hormones for their role during gametogenesis. Okay, so we know that during gametogenesis, the first hormone that is released is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Okay, this hormone is released from the hypothalamus. This is the most important step, hypothalamus. Therefore, the first statement will be statement B. Okay, gonadotrophins releasing hormone from hypothalamus. Then after that will come statement E, gonadotrophins from anterior pituitary gland. Why? Because this gonadotrophin releasing hormone that was released from the hypothalamus will stimulate the anterior pituitary. It will stimulate the anterior pituitary gland to produce gonadotrophins, and in addition to this, it also stimulates it to produce other hormones such as luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So the first statement is B, then the next statement will be E. After that, what will happen? After that, this luteinizing hormone that was produced by the anterior pituitary will stimulate, this luteinizing hormone will stimulate the Leydig cells in the testis to produce androgens. Okay. Therefore, statement A will be the next one. Gonadotrophin, luteinizing hormone, stimulates synthesis and secretion of androgens. Then the next, what will happen? The androgens such as testosterone will stimulate the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, these androgens will stimulate the process of spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. Therefore, this is statement C. Okay. And the last step will be that follicle stimulating hormone will stimulate the Sertoli cells in the testis, which will help in the process of spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? Transformation of spermatids into mature spermatozoa. So this is statement D. Gonadotrophin, follicle stimulating hormone, helps in the process of spermiogenesis. So the correct sequence will be B, E, A, C and D. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 55 is from the chapter Animal Kingdom, and the question is housefly belongs to family. So this is very simple question. We know that the scientific name of housefly is Musca domestica. Musca domestica. Okay, and it belongs to the family Muscidae. Muscidae. Therefore, the correct answer will be option number D. Question number 56 is from the chapter Biotechnology and its applications, and the question is select incorrect statement regarding chemical structure of insulin. Okay. First statement says mature insulin molecule consists of three polypeptide chains, chain A, B and C. This is incorrect, okay, because mature insulin molecule consists of only two polypeptide chains, that are chain A and B. Okay. C is an extra chain that is later on removed. Okay. Second statement is insulin is synthesized as prohormone which contains extra stretch of C peptide. This is a correct statement. Insulin is synthesized as a prohormone which contains chain A, B and C. Now during the process of maturation, chain C is removed. It is removed during maturation process. Therefore, at last only two chains are left, A and B. Third statement says C peptide is not present in mature insulin molecule. Yes, we have already seen that during the process of maturation, C peptide is removed. Then the last statement says polypeptide chains A and B are linked by disulfide bridges. This is also correct statement. Okay, these are linked by disulfide bridges. So the only incorrect statement will be the first one. Therefore, option A will be the correct answer. Question number 57 is from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division. And the question is, which one of the following is the quiescent stage of the cell cycle? Options are M, G2, G1 and G0. So this is also very simple. We know that G0 phase is known as the quiescent stage of the cell cycle. Why? Because in this stage, cells are neither dividing nor preparing to divide. Okay. Instead, they are in a state of dormancy. Cells are in a state of dormancy or quiescence. Therefore, it is known as the quiescent stage. Okay, option D will be the correct answer. Question number 58 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. Here two statements are given. We have to identify the correct statement. Okay. First statement says RNA being unstable mutate at a faster rate. Yes, this is a correct statement. Why RNA is unstable? Due to the presence of a hydroxyl group at one of the 2' carbon of RNA. Okay. It makes it more susceptible to hydrolysis and other chemical reactions. Hydrolysis and other chemical reactions, and due to this it is unstable and mutates at a faster rate as compared to DNA. Then the second statement says RNA can directly code for synthesis of proteins, hence can easily express the characters. This is also a correct statement. We know that first DNA is transcribed into RNA. Then RNA is translated into proteins. So which one is directly connected with protein? RNA, not DNA. Okay. Therefore, any changes in the RNA sequence can directly affect the resultant protein and thus easily express the different characters. Okay. So both the statements are correct. Statement 1 and statement 2 both are true. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 59 is from the chapter Excretory Products and Their Elimination. Here two statements are given. One is assertion and the other is reason. So let's read the statements. Assertion says that ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water and allows transport of electrolytes actively or passively. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, suppose this is the loop of Henle. So on the left side we have the descending descending limb of loop of Henle, and on the right hand side we have ascending limb of loop of Henle. Now this ascending limb is impermeable to water, impermeable to water, but it allows the transport of electrolytes. Okay, it is permeable to electrolytes. Now the reason says that dilution of filtrate takes place due to efflux of electrolytes in the medullary fluid. Okay, so in this ascending limb of loop we are talking about. Okay, so here the electrolytes are transported out. Okay, that means efflux of electrolytes takes place in the medullary fluid. These are exported, these are transported out. Okay, so due to that dilution takes place in this ascending limb of loop of Henle. Okay, so both the statements are correct and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 60 is again from the chapter Excretory Products and Their Elimination, and the question is the cockroach is, options are a monotelic only, uricotelic only, ureotelic only, and then the last option is ureotelic and uricotelic. Okay, so the correct answer will be option number B, uricotelic only. What does it mean? It means that they excrete the waste products in the form of uric acid. Uric acid. Okay, we know that the organisms such as reptiles, then birds and land snails and insects, all of them are uricotelic. Okay, they excrete the waste product in the form of uric acids, whereas the aquatic organisms such as bony fishes, then aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects, etc. have abundant of water. Okay, they have excess of water. So these are ammonotelic. That means they excrete waste in the form of ammonia. And what are the examples of ureotelic? The best example is mammals. All of us are ureotelic. Okay. Other than that, we have many terrestrial amphibians and marine fishes. These are example of ureotelic. That means they excrete the waste product in the form of urea. Okay. But since the question was asked about cockroach, so it will be option number B, uricotelic. Question number 61 is from the chapter Chemical Coordination and Integration, and the question is which of the following statements are correct with respect to hormone and its function. So let's read the statement. The first statement says that thyrocalcitonin regulates blood calcium level. Yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, thyrocalcitonin or simply calcitonin is a hormone that is produced by the thyroid gland, right? It is produced by the thyroid gland, and it helps to regulate the levels of calcium and phosphorus in the blood. Now the next statement says in males, FSH and androgens regulate spermatogenesis. So this is also a correct statement. Then come to the next statement. Hyperthyroidism can lead to goiter. Now this is incorrect statement. Okay. Goiter is caused due to the deficiency of iodine. Deficiency of iodine, not due to hyperthyroidism. Okay. Then the fourth statement says glucocorticoids are secreted in adrenal medulla. This is also incorrect. Glucocorticoids are secreted by the adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex, not adrenal medulla. Then the last statement is parathyroid hormone is regulated by circulating levels of sodium ions. Again, this is incorrect statement. It is regulated by circulating levels of calcium ions. Okay, calcium ions, not sodium ion. Therefore, the correct statements are only the first two statements A and B. Okay, other three are incorrect. So A and B only, option B will be the correct answer. Question number 62 is from the chapter Breathing and Exchange of Gases, and the question is select the sequence of steps in respiration. The first one is diffusion of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide across alveolar membrane. Second one is diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood and tissues. Third one is transport of gases by the blood. Then the fourth one is pulmonary ventilation, by which atmospheric air is drawn in and carbon dioxide rich alveolar air is released out. And the last one is utilization of oxygen by the cells for catabolic reactions are resultant release of carbon dioxide. Okay. So the first statement should be fourth one. Okay. D. That means pulmonary ventilation will be the first step. Okay. Pulmonary ventilation, by which atmospheric air is drawn in and carbon dioxide rich alveolar air is released out. Okay. Then the next one will be statement A. Diffusion of gases, that means oxygen and carbon dioxide across the alveolar membrane. Then the third one will be statement C. That means transport of gases by the blood. After that, statement B, diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the blood and the tissues. And the last step should be E, that means utilization of oxygen by the cells for catabolic reactions. Okay, so D, A, C, B, E should be the correct sequence. That means option A should be the correct answer. Question number 63 is from the chapter Biodiversity and Conservation, and the question is which of the following is or are causes of biodiversity losses? First one is overexploitation, habitat loss and fragmentation. Second one is climate change only. Third one is overexploitation only. And the last one is habitat loss and fragmentation only. So wherever you have only, these cannot be the correct answer. Okay. Climate change can contribute to biodiversity loss, but it is not the only cause. Also overexploitation and habitat loss, these are also not the only causes. So the most appropriate answer will be the first one, overexploitation, habitat loss and fragmentation. Okay, option A will be the correct answer. Question number 64 is from the chapter Animal Kingdom. Here we have to match list 1 and list 2. So the first thing mentioned in list 1 is contractile vacuole. So we know that contractile vacuoles are present in single-celled organisms such as amoeba. Okay, and they help in osmoregulation by expelling the excess water out of the cell. Okay, these are found in the single-celled organism and the best example is amoeba. So the correct match for A will be number 2. Right. Now let's come to the second one. Water vascular system. The water vascular system is the characteristic of echinoderms, right? It helps in locomotion, feeding, respiration, and excretion. Okay, and in which organisms it is found? It is a unique characteristic of echinoderms. We know that echinoderms such as Asterias. Asterias. And what is Asterias? It is a genus of starfish. Starfish. Therefore, the correct match for B will be number 1, Asterias. Now the third one is canal system. Now canal system helps in the circulation of water. Circulation of water for various purposes such as feeding, respiration or excretion. Okay. And it is a characteristic of spongilla. Okay. Sponges in general. An example is spongilla. Therefore, the correct match for C will be number 3. And the last one is flame cells. Flame cells are part of excretory system in platyhelminthes, right? So it is involved in excretion in platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes. One of the example of platyhelminthes is Taenia. Taenia, that is tapeworm. Okay, commonly known as tapeworm. So the correct match for D will be number 4. So A will be matched with 2, then B will be matched with number 1, C will be matched with 3 and D will be matched with 4. So option D will be the correct answer. Question number 65 is from the chapter Locomotion and Movement. Here again we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first one is palm bones, and we know that palm bones are known as metacarpals. Okay, these are associated with metacarpals. So it will be matched with number 2. Then wrist bones. So wrist bones are also known as carpals. So B will be matched with number 3. C is ankle bones. These are referred to as tarsals. That means C will be matched with number 4. And the last one is digit bones. That means the bones in the fingers and toes. And these are phalanges. Okay. So D will be matched with number 1. So according to this, the correct answer should be option number D. Question number 66 is from the chapter Reproductive Health. We have to match list 1 with list 2. Okay. So the first one mentioned in list 1 is non-medicated IUDs. Okay. So the example of non-medicated IUDs is the Lippis loop. Okay. So A will be matched with number 3. Then the second one is copper releasing IUDs. So which one is the example of copper releasing IUDs? The example is multi-load 375. So B should be matched with number 1. C is hormone releasing IUDs. So one of the example of hormone releasing IUDs is LNG20. So C should be matched with number 4. And the last one is vaults. What are vaults? These are also known as cervical caps. Okay, cervical caps. And it is a type of barrier contraceptive method which is made up of rubber. So it will be matched with the rubber barrier. That means D will be matched with number 2. So the correct answer will be option number C. Question number 67 is from the chapter Biotechnology, Principles and Processes. And the question is, which of the following can act as molecular scissors? Options are restriction enzymes, DNA ligase, RNA polymerase and DNA polymerase. So this is very easy. We know that restriction enzymes are known as molecular scissors. Okay. Why? Because they recognize the specific DNA sequence in a molecule and then cut the DNA at these recognition sites. Okay. So they cut the DNA at specific locations or specific sites. Okay. Therefore, they act as molecular scissors. So option A will be the correct answer. Question number 68 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. Here we have to select the correct statements about sickle cell anemia. Okay. The first statement says that there is a change in gene for beta globin. So this is a correct statement. Okay. Because the mutation occurs in the gene for beta globin. Then the second statement says in the beta globin there is valine in place of lysine. So this is incorrect because in the beta globin there is valine that is substituted for glutamic acid. Glutamic acid, not lysine. Third statement says it is an example of point mutation. This is a correct statement again because there is change in single nucleotide in the DNA. Okay, therefore it is point mutation. Okay, change in single nucleotide in the DNA. This is correct statement. Then the fourth one and the last one is in the normal gene, U is replaced by A. So U means uracil, A means adenine, right? So this is incorrect statement. What happens in a normal gene, we have GAG. The DNA code is GAG, which codes for glutamic acid. This is for normal gene. But in sickle cell anemia, this is changed to GTG, which codes for valine. So this statement is also incorrect. The only correct statements are first and third statement. That means option the first A and C. Okay, A and C only. Option D will be the correct answer. Question number 69 is from the chapter Reproductive Health. Here two statements are given. The first statement says that intracytoplasmic sperm injection is another specialized procedure of in vivo fertilization. This is incorrect. It will be in vitro fertilization, not in vivo fertilization. Okay. So what happens? Here a single sperm is injected directly into the egg to facilitate the fertilization, and then the fertilized egg, that is zygote, is transferred to the woman's uterus. Okay. So this is incorrect statement. The next statement says that infertility cases due to inability of the male partner to inseminate female can be corrected by artificial insemination. Yes, this is a correct statement. Okay. What happens in artificial insemination? In this, the sperm from the woman's partner or a donor is artificially inserted directly into the woman's cervix or uterus. So the first statement is incorrect, but the second one is correct. So the correct answer will be option number B. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is true. Question number 70 is from the chapter Body Fluids and Circulation. Here also we have to match list 1 with list 2. Okay, in list 1 we have different parts of ECG. So the first one is P wave. Okay, P wave represents depolarization of the arteria. That means A should be matched with number 3. Depolarization of arteria. Then the next one is QRS complex. So this complex represents depolarization of ventricles. That means this should be matched with number 1. Third one is T wave. So T wave represents repolarization of ventricles. So it will be matched with number 4. And the last one is end of T wave, which represents end of systole. Okay, so it should be matched with number 2. So according to this, the correct answer will be option number D. Question number 71 is again from the chapter Body Fluids and Circulation. Here we have to match different types of white blood cells mentioned in list 1 with their usual proportion in the blood mentioned in list 2. Okay. So the first type of white blood cells are eosinophils. The eosinophils are present in very less amount. So the correct match for A will be 2 to 3%. Okay. They are present in an amount that is about 2 to 3% of the white blood cells. Then the next one is lymphocytes. So lymphocytes typically make up about 20 to 25% of the white blood cells. So A will be matched with number 2 and B will be matched with number 3. Then C, neutrophils. So neutrophils are present in large quantity. Okay, they make up about 60 to 65% of the white blood cells. So C will be matched with number 4. And the last one is monocytes. So monocytes are present in an amount that is 6 to 8% of the white blood cells. So D will be matched with number 1. So according to this, which should be the correct answer? Option C should be the correct answer. Question number 72 is from the chapter Structural Organization in Animals, and the question is given below are two statements. The first statement says goblet cells are unicellular cells. Yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, these goblet cells secrete mucus. They secrete mucus, and these are found in the lining of intestines and respiratory tracts. Lining of intestine and respiratory tracts. Because here the mucus acts as the protective layer. Then the second statement says ear wax is the secretion of exocrine gland. So this statement is also correct. Okay, ear wax is also known as cerumen. Okay, and this is a secretion from the ceruminous glands in the ear canal, which are a type of exocrine gland. Okay, these are the secretion of ceruminous glands in the ear canal, and these are example of exocrine glands. Exocrine glands are those that secrete their products onto the body surface or into the body cavities. Okay, whereas endocrine glands are different. So here both the statements are correct. That means option C will be the correct answer. Question number 73 is from the chapter Human Reproduction. Here two statements regarding oogenesis is given. So the first statement says the primary follicles get surrounded by more layers of granulosa cells, a theca, and shows fluid-filled cavity antrum. Now it is called secondary follicle. So this is incorrect. In fact, it is partially correct because the first part of this statement is correct. Primary follicles get surrounded by more layers of granulosa cell and a theca. Okay, so after this they are known as secondary follicle. Secondary follicle. Then these secondary follicles are further transformed into tertiary follicle. Tertiary follicles, which are characterized by the fluid-filled cavity called antrum. So this antrum cavity is the characteristic of tertiary follicle, not secondary follicle. Therefore, this is incorrect statement. The second statement says Graafian follicle ruptures to release the secondary oocyte from the ovary by the process called ovulation. So this is a correct statement. Okay, statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 74 is from the chapter Organisms and Population, and the question is if there are 250 snails in a pond and within a year their number increases to 2500 by reproduction, what should be their birth rate per snail per year? Okay, so we know that the birth rate is given by the formula delta n upon n delta t. So what is delta n here? This is final number minus initial number. Okay, n is the initial number here. N is the initial number. And delta t, that means time change. Total time taken here. Okay, so initially there were 250 snails. So n initial is 250 and n final is 2500. So what will be delta n? Delta n will be 2500 minus 250. So here we get 2250. This is the value of delta n. So let's put this in this formula. Delta n is 2250 upon n means initial number, that is 250, into time given is 1 year. So delta t will be 1. So on solving this, we'll get 9. Okay, 25 into 9 will be 225. So birth rate will be 9. That means option B, 9 per snail per year. Question number 75 is from the chapter Neural Control and Coordination. Here two statements are given. The first statement says the nose contains mucus coated receptors which are specialized for receiving sense of smell and are called olfactory receptors. So this is a correct statement. Okay. Second statement says wall of the eyeball has three layers. The external layer is called choroid, that is made up of dense connective tissue. Middle layer is sclera, thin pigmented layer, and internal layer is retina, that has ganglion cells, bipolar cells, and photoreceptor cells. So this is incorrect because in this statement it is said that external layer is called choroid, which is not correct. Okay, the external layer is called sclera and the middle layer is called choroid, not sclera. Okay, whereas internal layer is retina, that has ganglion cells, bipolar cells, and photoreceptor cells. So statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. So option A will be the correct answer. Question number 76 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is which one of the following acts as an inducer for lac operon? So what is a lac operon? It is an operon that is required for the transport of and also metabolism. Transport and metabolism of lactose in the E. coli and some other bacteria. Okay, so lactose acts as an inducer for lac operon. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 77 is from the chapter Environmental Issues. Here we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first one is deforestation. Now deforestation, we know that it refers to the conversion of forested areas to non-forested areas. So A will be matched with number 2. Okay, A will be matched with number 2. Then reforestation. Reforestation is the process of restoring a forest that once existed but it was removed. So it is the process of restoring a forest that once existed but was removed. So B will be matched with number 4. Then C, greenhouse effect. So this effect is responsible for heating the earth's surface and atmosphere. So C will be matched with number 1. And D, eutrophication. So it is a natural aging of lake by nutrient enrichment of its water. So D will be matched with number 3. So the correct answer will be option number D. Question number 78 is from the chapter Human Health and Disease, and the question is diacetylmorphine is also called as. Options are amphetamine, barbiturate, crack, and smack. So the correct answer will be option D, that is smack. Okay, diacetylmorphine is a semi-synthetic opioid. Semi-synthetic opioid that is synthesized from the morphine. Okay, it is commonly known as heroin or smack. Okay, heroin or smack, these are the common names of diacetylmorphine. Other options, these are also examples of different types of drugs. Okay, amphetamines is a type of stimulant. Barbiturate is an example of depressant, and crack is a form of cocaine that can be smoked. So according to this question, the correct answer will be option number D, smack. Question number 79 is from the living world, and the question is X and Y are the components of binomial nomenclature. This naming system was proposed by Z. Okay, so we know that in case of binomial nomenclature, the first part, that is X, is the generic name. Okay, it represents the generic name of the organism, whereas the second part Y represents the specific epithet, specific, okay, species name. And this naming system of binomial nomenclature was proposed by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus. So the correct answer will be option number A. Question number 80 is from the chapter Reproductive Health, and the question is, which of the following statements are correct? The first statement says that reproductive health refers to the total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. Yes, this is the correct definition of reproductive health. So this is a correct statement. Second statement says that amniocentesis is legally banned for sex determination in India. So this is also correct because it was being misused, okay, for sex determination, and it was leading to the female feticide. The third statement says Saheli, a new oral contraceptive for females, was developed in collaboration with ICMR New Delhi, which is an incorrect statement. Okay, so this oral contraceptive for females was developed in collaboration. It was developed by the Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow. Okay, it was not developed by the ICMR, so this is incorrect. Then the last statement says amniocentesis is used to determine genetic disorders and survivability of the fetus. Yes, this is a correct statement, and this is the correct use of amniocentesis, but it was being misused for sex determination, therefore it was banned. So the correct statement is, there are three statements which are correct, A, B and D. Okay, so option C will be the correct answer. Question number 81 is from the chapter Biomolecules. Here we have to match the categories of secondary metabolites or proteins with correct examples. Okay. So the first type of metabolite that is mentioned here is terpenoids. So what are terpenoids? These are a large class of organic chemicals which are similar to terpenes. So diterpenes will be the example of terpenoids. So A will be matched with number 2. Okay. Then the second one is lectins. Lectins are a type of protein that can bind specifically to certain sugars, and thus they play an important role in recognizing carbohydrates. Okay, what will be the example of lectins? Concavalin A is the example of lectins. So B will be matched with number 4. Then C, alkaloids. What are alkaloids? These are a class of naturally occurring organic compounds that mostly contain basic nitrogen atoms. Okay, and the example of alkaloids will be codeine. So C will be matched with number 1, codeine. Okay, now we know that codeine is an alkaloid that is found in opium poppy. Now the last one is toxins. So as the name suggests, toxins are poisonous substances, and these are produced within the living cells or organisms. Example here will be ricin. Okay, ricin is a type of toxin. So D will be matched with number 3. So according to this, the correct answer will be option number D. Question number 82 is from the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life. Two statements are given here. Let's read the statements. First statement says that in bacteria, the mesosomes are formed by the extensions of plasma membrane. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay. We know that the plasma membrane is the outer covering. Okay. And inside plasma membrane, we have cytoplasm. So when plasma membrane extends inside the cytoplasm, okay, like this. So this extension of plasma membrane inside the cytoplasm is known as mesosome. Okay, so these are observed as invaginations of the plasma membrane. Now let's come to the second statement. It says that the mesosomes in bacteria help in DNA replication and cell wall formation. So yes, this is also a correct statement. There are several functions of the mesosomes. Two of them are DNA replication and cell wall formation. Other than that, it has the function of DNA, distribution of DNA. Okay, let's write it down here. Distribution of DNA during the cell division. During cell division. Then respiration. These are also functions of mesosomes. in addition to DNA replication and cell wall formation. So both the statements are correct here. So option C will be the correct answer. Question number 83 is from the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division, and the question is select correct sequence of substages of prophase 1 of meiotic division. Okay, so we know that prophase 1 of meiotic division consists of 5 stages. Okay, first one is leptotene, leptotene. Then we have zygotene, then pachytene, then diplotene, and at last we have diakinesis. So what will be the correct sequence? Leptotene, that means D, then zygotene means A, then pachytene B, then diplotene, that is E, and diakinesis C. Okay, so D, A, B, E, C will be the correct sequence. That means option C will be the correct answer. Question number 84 is from the chapter Neural Control and Coordination, and the question is brain stem of human brain consists of. So we know that brain stem of human brain consists of 3 parts. First part is the midbrain, which is also known as mesencephalon. Then the second part is pons, and the third part is medulla oblongata. Okay, medulla oblongata. Midbrain is involved in the functions such as vision, hearing, eye movement, and body movement. Okay. Now if we talk about the functions of pons, then it is involved in the regulation of breathing, then communication between different parts of the brain, communication between different parts of the brain, and these are also involved in sensations such as hearing, taste and balance. Okay. And the last part is medulla oblongata. So what is the function of medulla oblongata? It controls the autonomic functions such as breathing, heart rate, etc. Okay, breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, etc. Blood pressure. So we saw that the 3 parts of brain stem are midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. So the correct answer will be option number A. Question number 85 is from the chapter Evolution, and the question is identify the fossil of man who showed the following characteristics. First one is brain capacity of 1400 cc, then used hides to protect their body, and the last one is buried their dead bodies. So these characteristics are of Neanderthal man, that means option B will be the correct answer. Okay, their average brain capacity was 1200 to 1750 cc. Okay, so 1400 cc lies between this, therefore this suits to Neanderthal man. Okay, if we talk about the Homo erectus, they had lesser brain capacity. Okay, their average brain capacity was about 900 to 1100 cc. Okay, and Homo habilis, so they had even smaller brain capacity or lesser brain capacity of about 650 to 800 cc, and that of Australopithecus, it was the least. Okay, it was only about 400 to 500 cc. Okay, so according to this question, the correct answer will be option number B. Question number 86 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is, with reference to Hershey and Chase experiments, select the correct statement. So before we read the statements, we should know which organism was used in this experiment conducted by Hershey and Chase. We know that bacteriophages were used. Bacteriophages are the viruses that infect bacteria, right? Now two batches were grown. First batch was grown in the presence of radioactive phosphorus, that is phosphorus 32, and the other batch was grown in the presence of radioactive sulfur, that is sulfur 35. Okay. Now we know that phosphorus is found in DNA. It is a component of DNA and not protein. Okay. It is found in DNA, not in protein. Therefore, the viruses that were grown in radioactive phosphorus contained the viruses contain radioactive DNA. Radioactive DNA. Radioactive DNA, not protein. Now, sulfur is the component of some of the amino acids such as methionine and cysteine. Therefore, it is found in protein, but it is not found in DNA. Therefore, the viruses that were grown in radioactive sulfur contained radioactive protein. Contained radioactive protein and not DNA. Now let's read the statements. First statement says that viruses grown in the presence of radioactive phosphorus contained radioactive DNA. Yes, this is correct statement we have seen because phosphorus is the component of DNA. Okay. Then the second statement says viruses grown on radioactive sulfur contain radioactive proteins. This is also true because sulfur is found in proteins. Third statement says viruses grown on radioactive phosphorus contain radioactive protein. This is not correct because phosphorus is not found in protein. Then the fourth statement says viruses grown on radioactive sulfur contain radioactive DNA. This is also incorrect because sulfur is not the component of DNA. Okay. And the last statement says that viruses grown on radioactive protein contain radioactive DNA. So viruses were not grown on radioactive protein. They were grown only on radioactive phosphorus and sulfur. So this is also incorrect. So the only correct statements are A and B. So A and B only, that means option B will be the correct answer. Question number 87 is from the chapter Digestion and Absorption, and the question is, select the correct sequential steps regarding absorption of fatty acids and glycerol in the intestine. The statements are, first one is micelles are reformed into small protein coated fat globules called chylomicrons. Second one is micelles move into intestinal mucosa. Third one is fatty acids and glycerol are incorporated into small droplets called micelles. Then lacteals release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. And the last one that is mentioned here is chylomicrons are transported into lacteals. Now this is not the correct sequential steps. So the correct one will be, first, fatty acids and glycerols are incorporated into small droplets called micelles. So this third statement, C, will come first. Okay. C will come first. Fatty acids and glycerol are incorporated into small droplets called micelles. These micelles are formed in the lumen of the small intestine. Micelles are formed in lumen of small intestine. Now, the next step will be B. Micelles move into intestinal mucosa. Okay. These micelles will move into the intestinal mucosa. Then they break down, releasing the fatty acids and glycerol, which then diffuse into the cells of the intestinal mucosa. Then third step will be A. Okay. Within these cells, the fatty acids and glycerols are reassembled into triglycerides. And then these triglycerides are packaged with protein and other substances into chylomicrons. Okay. So A, and then the fourth step will be E. That means chylomicrons will be transported into the lacteals. Okay. Then the last step will be D. Okay, what will happen? These lacteals will release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. So this is the correct sequential step, and according to this, the correct answer will be option number C, CBAED. Question number 88 is from the chapter Organisms and Population. Two statements are given here. One is assertion and the other is reason. So let's read the assertion. A person goes to high altitude and experiences altitude sickness with symptoms like breathing difficulty and heart palpitations. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay. The reason is that due to low atmospheric pressure at high altitudes, the body does not get sufficient oxygen. This is also absolutely correct. Okay. And this is the correct explanation of assertion. What happens when you go at high altitudes? The amount of oxygen decreases there, okay, because there is low atmospheric pressure, so you do not get sufficient oxygen to breathe, and this leads to breathing difficulty and heart palpitations. So both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Option C will be the correct answer. Question number 89 is from the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance, and the question is salient features of genetic code are. First one is the code is palindromic. This is not correct. Okay, the code is not palindromic. Then the second one is UGA acts as the initiator codon. This is also incorrect. UGA is a terminator codon. Terminator codon. Okay, UGA, UAG, and UAA. All these are terminator codons. And what is the example of initiator codon? The example of initiator codon is AUG, that codes for methionine. Then the third one is the code is unambiguous and specific. Yes, this is correct. Okay. Unambiguous meaning each codon specifies only one amino acid. Okay. Then the last one is the code is nearly universal. This is also correct. It is nearly universal. That means the same codon specify the same amino acids in all organisms with a few minor exceptions. So these two statements C and D are correct. Okay. C and D only. That means option D will be the correct answer. Question number 90 is from the chapter Excretory Products and Their Elimination, and the question is arrange the events of renin-angiotensin mechanism in correct sequence. Activation of juxtaglomerular cells and release of renin. Angiotensin 2 activates release of aldosterone. Fall in glomerular blood pressure. Reabsorption of sodium ion and water from distal convoluted tubule. And then angiotensinogen is converted to angiotensin 1 and then to angiotensin 2. So this is not the correct sequence. Okay. So let's find out the correct sequence. First of all, there will be fall in glomerular blood pressure. That means C will come first. Okay. Fall in glomerular blood pressure due to various reasons such as dehydration. Okay. Now this will be detected by the juxtaglomerular cells. This fall in blood pressure will be detected by juxtaglomerular cells. Then what will happen? Juxtaglomerular cells will get activated. So the next step will be A, activation of juxtaglomerular cells and release of renin. Okay. After that, what will happen? This renin that is released will catalyze the conversion of protein angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Okay. So E will come first. E will come after A. Okay. Angiotensinogen is converted to angiotensin 1 and then to angiotensin 2 by what? By the renin. Okay. Then the next one will be B. Angiotensin 2 will activate release of aldosterone. Okay. What happens when angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2? This angiotensin 2 is a powerful vasoconstrictor. So it stimulates the release of aldosterone from the adrenal cortex. Okay. Then the last step will be D. Reabsorption of sodium ion and water from distal convoluted tubule. Okay. So the correct sequence will be the first one. Option A will be the correct answer. Question number 91 is from the chapter Environmental Issues, and the question is select the correct statements regarding dissolved oxygen and biochemical oxygen demand. So the first statement is BOD, that is biochemical oxygen demand, is inversely related to dissolved oxygen. Yes, this is a correct statement. Okay. When there is higher amount of organic matter present in the water body, the biochemical oxygen demand will also be higher, and this will lead to decrease in the level of dissolved oxygen. So these are BOD and dissolved oxygen are inversely related. BOD will be higher, then the amount of dissolved oxygen will be lower. Okay. Then the second statement says low dissolved oxygen and high BOD lead to loss of aquatic life. Yes, when BOD will increase, the amount of dissolved oxygen will decrease, so the aquatic organisms will not get enough oxygen for breathing or respiration, so it will lead to their death. Okay, so this is also a correct statement. Then the third statement says that high BOD leads to high dissolved oxygen. This is not correct, because we have already seen that high BOD will lead to low amount of dissolved oxygen, not high dissolved oxygen. So C is incorrect. Okay. Then the fourth statement says that both BOD and dissolved oxygen are indicator of health of water body. Yes, because when biochemical oxygen demand is higher and the amount of dissolved oxygen is lower, it indicates pollution. Okay, it indicates pollution in the water body. Okay, this is often from the organic waste present in the water body. Then the last statement says that both BOD and dissolved oxygen are affected by the amount of organic matter in the water body. Yes, we have already discussed that when the amount of organic matter will be higher, then the BOD will also be higher and dissolved oxygen will be lower. Okay, so which statements are correct? A, B, D and E are correct. C is incorrect. Okay. So A, B, D and E only. That means option B will be the correct answer. Question number 92 is from the chapter Chemical Coordination and Integration. Two statements are given here. The first statement says that parathyroid hormone acts on bones and stimulates the process of bone resorption. So yes, this is a correct statement. Okay, it acts on bones and stimulates the process of bone resorption. In addition, it also acts on kidneys. Okay, it acts on kidneys and stimulate the reabsorption of calcium here. Reabsorption of calcium. Then it also acts on intestines. Here also it enhances the absorption of dietary calcium. Absorption of dietary calcium. So all these actions increase the blood calcium level. Okay. Now let's come to the second statement. It says parathyroid hormone along with thyrocalcitonin plays a significant role in carbohydrate metabolism. This is incorrect statement, because parathyroid hormone and thyrocalcitonin, these two hormones are the regulators of calcium homeostasis. Okay, these are involved in the calcium homeostasis, homeostasis, not in carbohydrate metabolism. What are the hormones that are involved in carbohydrate metabolism? These are insulin and glucagon. Insulin and glucagon, not parathyroid and thyrocalcitonin. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So option A will be the correct answer. Question number 93 is from the chapter Animal Kingdom. Here we have to select the correct statements. First statement says that platyhelminthes are triploblastic, pseudocoelomate and bilaterally symmetrical organisms. This is incorrect statement, because platyhelminthes are acoelomate. Okay, they are acoelomate, not pseudocoelomate. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomate. Okay. Then the second statement says that ctenophores reproduce only sexually and fertilization is external. This is a correct statement. Okay. Then the third statement says that in tapeworm fertilization is internal but sexes are not separate. This is correct, because they are hermaphrodite. That means male and females are present in the same individuals. Okay. So sexes are not separate and fertilization is internal. Then the fourth statement says that ctenophores are exclusively marine. diploblastic and bioluminescent organisms. Yes, this is also correct statement. Then the last statement says that in sponges, that is porifera, fertilization is external and development is direct. This is incorrect statement because in porifera, that is sponges, these are examples of porifera, fertilization is internal, not external. Okay. So A and E are incorrect, whereas B, C and D are correct statements. Okay. So B, C and D only, option B will be the correct answer. Question number 94 is from the chapter Biotechnology and its applications. Here we have to match list 1 with list 2. So the first one is gene therapy. Okay. So gene therapy, as the name suggests, it allows the correction of a gene defect. Okay. So A will be matched with number 4. Then B, RNA interference. Now, what is RNA interference? It is a biological process in which RNA molecules inhibit the gene expression or translation, and it is a form of cellular defense. So B will be matched with number 3. Then C, ELISA. It is a common diagnostic test for the AIDS. Okay, therefore C will be matched with number 2. What happens in ELISA? It basically measures the amount of antibodies present in the blood. Okay, then the last one is gel electrophoresis. So gel electrophoresis involves separation of DNA fragments according to the molecular size and charge. So D will be matched with number 1. So the correct answer will be option number C. Question number 95 is from the chapter Cell, the Unit of Life, and the question is, which of the following statements are correct with respect to Golgi apparatus? So the first statement says that it is an important site of formation of glycoprotein and glycolipids. Yes, this is a correct statement. The second statement says it produces cellular energy in the form of ATP. This is incorrect. We know that mitochondria is responsible for the production of cellular energy in the form of ATP, not Golgi apparatus. Okay. The third statement says it modifies the protein synthesized by ribosomes on endoplasmic reticulum. This is correct because it modifies and packages the protein that is received from the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. The fourth statement says it facilitates the transport of ions. This is also incorrect because ion transport is facilitated by the plasma membrane. Okay, it is facilitated by plasma membrane and ion channels, not Golgi apparatus. Then the last statement says it provides mechanical support. This is also incorrect statement. Although it is responsible for the maintenance of cellular structure to some extent, but we cannot say that it provides the mechanical support to the cell. So the only correct statements are statement A and statement C. Others are incorrect. Okay. So option B will be the correct answer. Question number 96 is from the chapter Strategies for the Enhancement in Food Production, and the question is, select the incorrect statement with respect to multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. Okay. So what is multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology? It is a program for herd improvement. Herd improvement. That means increase in the herd size in a very short time. Okay. Now what happens? First of all, a cow is administered hormones, is administered hormones to induce follicular maturation. Okay. Hormones to induce follicular maturation, follicular maturation and super ovulation. Super ovulation. So what happens in super ovulation? Instead of one egg which they normally yield per cycle, now they yield 6 to 8 eggs per cycle. Okay, eggs per cycle instead of one egg, instead of just one egg. Okay, then this cow is mated with an elite bull or it is artificially inseminated. Okay, mated with an elite bull or it is artificially inseminated. Then the fertilized egg at about 8 to 32 cell stages is recovered non-surgically. Then it is transferred to the surrogate mother. Okay, so let's read the statements now. The first statement says that fertilized eggs at 4 to 6 cell stages are recovered non-surgically from superovulating cow and transferred to surrogate mother. This is incorrect because we have seen that the fertilized egg at 8 to 32 cell stages is recovered from the superovulating cow and then it is transferred to the surrogate mother. So 4 to 6 cell stages is incorrect. Then the second statement says it is used to increase the herd size in short time. This is correct. Okay. Then third statement is cow is administered with hormones to induce superovulation. Yes, this is also correct statement. Then the fourth statement says that superovulating cow is either mated with an elite bull or it is artificially inseminated. It is also correct. So the only incorrect statement was the first one. So option A will be the correct answer here. Question number 97 is from the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. Here two statements are given. The first statement says that in cockroach, the four wings are transparent and prothoracic in origin. So this is incorrect statement because the four wings are not transparent. Okay, these are opaque. These are opaque, dark and leathery. Okay. And these are not prothoracic in origin. Instead, they originate from the mesothorax. Mesothorax, not prothorax. Then the second statement says that in cockroach, the hind wings are opaque, leathery and mesothoracic in origin. This is also incorrect because the hind wings are transparent, not opaque. Okay, transparent, membranous, and they originate from the metathorax. Metathorax, not mesothorax. So both the statements are false here. Okay. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are false. Option D will be the correct answer. Question number 98 is again from the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. Here we have to match the types of epithelium with the body parts where they are found. Okay. So the first type is columnar epithelium. We know that columnar epithelium consists of tall, slender and column-like cells. Okay. And it is found in the inner lining of the stomach and intestine. Inner lining of stomach and intestine. There it helps in the secretion and absorption. Secretion and absorption. So A will be matched with number 2. Okay. A will be matched with number 2. Then the second one is ciliated epithelium. So as the name suggests, it contains cilia. Okay. These are the columnar or cuboidal cells that have cilia present on them. Okay. And these cilia help to move mucus, and other substances. And where they are found? They are found usually in the bronchioles. That is the air passages in the lungs, as well as they are found in the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes in females. Okay, so the correct match for B will be number 3, inner lining of bronchioles. Fallopian tubes are not mentioned in the options. Then C, squamous epithelium. So squamous means scaly. So they have the cells which are thin and flat, similar to the shape of fish scales. Okay, and they form the endothelium. Endothelium, that is the lining of the heart, blood vessels, and lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels. So it will be matched with endothelium. That means C will be matched with number 4. Then the last one is cuboidal epithelium. So again, from the name we can assume that these cells are cube-like. Okay, these are cube-shaped cells, and these are most commonly found in the ducts of glands. Ducts of glands and kidney tubules. Kidney tubules, where they help in secretion and absorption. Secretion and absorption. So the correct match for D will be number 1, ducts of glands. So which will be the correct answer? Option D will be the correct answer. Question number 99 is from the chapter Human Health and Disease. Here we have to match the type of barriers with the example. So the first type of barrier is cytokine barriers. Cytokines are a broad category of small proteins that are important in cell signaling. Okay, and the example of cytokine barrier will be interferon. So A will be matched with number 2. Then cellular barriers. Example of cellular barrier will be neutrophils and macrophages, which are type of white blood cells. Okay, and these are part of our immune system. So B will be matched with number 3. Then C, physiological barriers. So tears and saliva are example of physiological barriers. Both of them contain the enzyme lysozyme. Okay, they contain lysozyme, which help to break down the cell walls of many types of bacteria. So C will be matched with number 4. And the last one is physical barriers. So this is very simple. Mucus coating of respiratory tracts is the example of physical barriers. So D will be matched with number 1. So the correct answer will be option number A. Okay, A will be matched with 2, B will be matched with 3, C will be matched with 4, and D will be matched with 1. And now the last question is from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. And the question is, select the correct statements with respect to mechanism of sex determination in grasshopper. The first statement says it is an example of female heterogamety. Heterogamety means different type of gametes are found in females. So this is not correct, okay? Because it is an example of male heterogamety. That means different types of gametes are found in males, not females. Okay. In males, there are two different types of gametes. One is without X and the other is with X. Okay. So with X means XO and without X means OO. Whereas in females, only one type of gamete is found, that is XX. Okay. Then the second statement says male produces two different types of gametes, either with or without X chromosome. So this is correct. Okay. We have already discussed. Then the third statement says total number of chromosomes, autosomes and sex chromosomes is same in both males and females. This is incorrect. Okay, it is different in males and females, not same. Then the last statement says all eggs bear an additional X chromosome besides the autosome. This is correct statement. Okay, so A and C are incorrect, whereas B and D are correct. So we had to identify the correct statement. So option A, B and D only will be the correct answer. So here we complete all the biology questions from NEET Manipur 2023 paper. We'll be back with another session soon. Till then, keep learning, keep scoring high. For a better understanding, I would suggest you to practice same questions from our website www.examsnet.com, and for more information, you can download our app from the link given in the description box. Thank you so much.